recently, Moody's assigned a Ba3 sovereign rating to the Republic of Congo, primarily reflecting the country's fairly small and concentrated economy, as well as its favorable growth prospects. Going forward, the rating agency believes that this approach will start to address the country's economic lack of diversification. For more on the growth prospects for the DRC, I'm joined by Aurelian Mali, Vice President, Senior Analyst at Moody's. Aurelian, thank you so much for making the time to join us. Of course, this is the first time that the DRC has been rated by Moody's. What's changed?
Yes, just a clarification. We assign a Ba3 to the Republic of Congo, but we assign a B3 rating to the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Fantastic.
It has been in the news. So let me talk about the Republic of Congo if you want, and then the DRC as you want.
Go ahead. Let's talk about the Republic of Congo, Aurelian. We understand that they've not been rated previously, but what's prompted Moody's to take an interest in this particular African country?
Yes, we assign a Ba3 rating to the Republic of Congo, and I think the country, to reflect its strength, and especially we took into account what we can say the future. We have a forward-looking view about this country, so it's one notch ahead of many countries that we rate in the region, including Zambia, Kenya, or Senegal, or Ghana. And it's to reflect the prospect. It's the oil economy. It's roughly 70% of the GDP, but you have to take into account the fact that in few years you will have a massive mining industry with iron ore and also potassium and potash and phosphate. So it's growing, and it will act as a little hub for the whole Central Africa region because of the Port Autonome of Pointe-Noire, which is the only deep sea port in the region. And so transshipment will play a role with a city like Kinshasa in front of Brazzaville that will be a normal outlet for Congo.
Let's look at the projected growth rate that you've pinned at 8%. This is quite an impressive number. From a sector perspective, where are you expecting the highest growth points?
In fact, 8% will be a conservative number, especially if again the mining industry start to pick up in terms of export of minerals. But the main also element is that foreign direct investment in the Republic of the Congo averaged 20%, 25% over the last 5 years of GDP, and is going to increase. Recently, the major oil companies like Total in March announced that they will invest $10 billion in a field called Moho Nord. And you have also Eni in August that discovered 700 million of oil barrel, recoverable barrel of oil. So all that is going also to ensure that the oil sector will remain vibrant over the next 10 years or so, 15 years.
Let's look at some of the capacity of the Republic of Congo. We know that this country is unfortunately well known for having weak institutional capacity. What is the government doing that is driving confidence that they're about to turn the corner on this one?
You know, we like to look at the ranking, international ranking of governance indicator. It's true that it's a long-term constraint for the Republic of the Congo, but they are taking a lot of effort or initiative to try to improve the ease of doing business and also the governance indicator. For example, there are the compliance status to the extractive industry transparency initiative based in Oslo. There are few countries that reach the compliance status. It was earlier this year. So it's to make sure that all the revenues of the mining sector and the oil company and the dividend paid by the state to the state are transparent, which is a big step forward. And a country that is able to attract 25% of GDP as FDI every year, it means that something is about to change. And I think some ranking a bit laggard vis-à-vis this issue.
Aurelian, what is your view on the country's fiscal fundamentals. Are these in place?
Oh, it's pretty simple. It's one of the key elements that drove our decision. Right now, the Republic of the Congo is a net external creditor. If you take all the government assets, external assets, and you deduct the debt, the actual stock of debt, it has a net position roughly close to 40% of GDP. And because it has a fiscal rule where the government is not going to spend all the oil rent, they may exceed 100% of GDP to manage by 2020. It's also a number from the IMF Article 4. And so because of that, we think that the balance sheet of the government is going to be stronger and stronger.
Let's look at the political landscape for a second. We understand that there have been tensions between the North and the South, and there's a little bit of uncertainty in terms of the succeeding president after President Sassou Nguesso. How significant are these political tensions in terms of the broader prospects for the country?
I think with the institutions and the political risk was a key element that we rated at medium, by the way, on our methodology, but it's something that has prevented economic development in the past. Over the last, since independence, you had political tension and sometimes also a period of I would say, volatility in terms of the social compact. But at the end of the day, since 2002 and the final end of the civil war that occurred in the 90s, political system has stabilized under the President Sassou Nguesso. Today you see a real will to build the economy, to rebuild the infrastructure, and to make sure that economic prosperity is shared among the Congolese. So the government also has more means to buy social peace if needed, but it's true that the succession is not ensured, and it's still a question mark going forward.
Given the robust growth of the extractive industries and the potential for those particular industries to bring in even more revenues into the country, is there a relationship with the conflict points around the politics? Did you find that North and South tensions were predicated on these now growing industries, and if so, what does this mean going forward?
I think that is key. If the country manages to really make the country richer, for example, there is a highway between the port autonome of Pointe-Noire and Brazzaville with Kinshasa in front of it, that is going to be completed by 2015. It will reduce cost of living, cost of cement, and it will allow a trade to increase. That will really change the life of thousands and millions of people on the ground. So this kind of infrastructure will make sure that probably people will be happy to share economic, I would say, growth.
Looking forward, Aurelien, what could improve the Republic of Congo's rating moving forward?
It's clear that we mentioned a few elements. First, the accumulation of assets by the government is an important point, and that is, of course, our ratings, they speak to the ability and capacity and willingness of a government to pay its debt. So this is an element that we are going to look. Improvement in the institutions, the institutional framework, of course, but also in terms of transparency in the way the assets are managed at the level of the government. Of course, we are always looking for other, I would say, analysis for like the World Bank indicators for governance, and also sometimes the ease of doing business are also important to us for the institutions. But really, if the country manages to develop extractive industry in the mining sector, it will mean when the oil is depleted, there will be still a large new sector that will take the role of the oil sector.